Greetings and welcome to a Better Official Live in the morning on a Wednesday. Basketball rules expert is in the house. We will look at all things basketball rules related, National Federation of High School Basketball Rules. Glad to see everybody on the stream this morning. Super excited. Hope everybody's doing well. Getting my bearings straight. Oh, it's been a while. It seems like it's been a long time since I've been live. Excellent. So I had a game last night, very workmanlike game, right? And sometimes we know in advance we're coming in. Is this going to be a high-level game, mid-level game, etc.? Boys varsity game, tournament game. Expected it to be a good game. Working with a great partner. Is there anything better than working with a great partner, right? Somebody who you're super comfortable with, they will handle their business and that we will work together, right? Because this is a two-person game. When we're working a two-person game, it really is like a bit like a dance, right? We're going to move in coordination, a pair on the court, how we're doing things, how we're communicating, etc. And so when we have that partner who's like, we are on the same page, absolutely, and we don't have to, right? He wants to do everything by the book, right? So we're going to do NFHS mechanics to the T. We're going to switch all the fouls, even the long switch, all the things. If we know that in advance, right, it becomes really easy, right? We know what's going to happen next. And that's always empowers us to be at our best when we know what's going to happen next, how we're going to handle this situation on the court, right? So great partner. We had some stuff. We had some plays in our game. It's the time of year where we're talking about plays in our game. Assessed a player tactical foul. Had coaches who were, the old book, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or something like that, right? Officials are from Mars. Coaches sometimes can be from Venus. It's like the things that they like latch onto and find important is sometimes a little mind-boggling. But I'd be thrilled to hear tales from the court for you guys as well, you viewers as well. The Zooch in the house. Excellent. So I guess everybody's like kind of busy. My partner last night, had either today or tomorrow, was going to have 4 games. 2 freshman games early in the day and then 2 varsity games later in the day. Man. I am just not in position to do that myself. The Zooch says, come on, Gus and Oliver. Well, I'll tell you what, Zooch. Let's take a look. Boo, boo, boo. Do, 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 do. No, that didn't work. Let's see. I see. Don't mind me. Just playing. Let me try something else. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. Oh, well, I tried. Gus and Oliver are in the house. Mike Goodwin is out on the back porch, sunbathing in the beautiful plus 33-degree weather. But more snow to come. That is crazy. But that's... so I guess the other question is like, if it's plus 33 and then as compared to like minus 20 or whatever you had the other day, plus 33, it's like, hey, we could be out. We're doing things. When you're at minus 20, can you like, do anything? Like, go out in the backyard and perform some task or something? Or is it just absolutely debilitating? Or you have to be so layered up that you can't function, right? And do you ever do the fun like science experiments where you take the boiling water and throw it in the air? And yeah. It's obviously very foreign to me. Jason Hayes in the house, listening in the car on his way to doing games. Bright and early. Chuck Kazoulis, good morning from Maine. Chuck, am I pronouncing that name right? I gave it a go. Kazoulis. Seems straightforward. Let me know. The Zooch, well, Gerald Mizucci, I guess it is time to hit the like button. Good morning from Maryland. Excellent. Paul Clay is jumping in. Dave Krieg. Right, tournament games going on. Right, so I can tell you about my technical foul. I have assessed a lot of technical fouls this year. And they're all like obvious and straightforward. It's not like, oh, he went looking for the, almost stuff that just basically has to be called. Gary Mouton is in the house from Humble, Texas. Phil Uhas joining. Dr. Phil is in the house. And Jack Gaffney from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Oh, Utah is in the house. Excellent. I think that's Mark Ensign. Am I right about that? Yeah. Los Santon. Hey. Dean Hodges, rocking the Muhammad Ali avatar. Good to see you, Dean. Oh, morning. Dakota Ted is in the hair, and the air hurts. Yeah, I imagine it's just like, the bite of the super cold air must be. Oh my. Okay, Chuck gives me props for actually pronouncing his name correctly. Oh boy. I can appreciate that. Martin Tim is in the house. I see. Okay, Martin's got 2. He's got the last place game and then the championship game. And Gary with 3 tournament games today as well, right? So in my game last night, so we're in the third period, coming out at halftime. The home team had gone into a zone, which was really confounding the point guard and the visitors. And some frustration was building, although the score was staying relatively close in the game. And so after a made basket by White at the other end, right, the players, the player who scored turns to the point guard and he's like, doing this to him right in his face, right? Easy tee, right? It's like we're not going to allow that in our game. And I assess the tee. I tell my partner, he's administrator, and the home coach is like, that player, that point guard was talking to our bench, and he was talking to our player. You missed that, and then you assess the tee, right? And it's like, I did not perceive your player talking to your bench, or that player. I did not perceive the interaction if I had perceived that, right? But we're not going to allow that behavior on the court, That's just not going to happen, right? So, yes, we may have missed some subtle action preceding. Maybe all we got there was a retaliatory, the response to, one player talking to the other. But the player talking to the other did not rise to the level of clapping in the face and doing this, right? So it's like, okay, all right. I mean, it's like really straightforward. What can you do? What can you do? Right. And then we also had this transition, the same coach, transition play, backcourt to frontcourt, two-person mechanics. I'm trail opposite the table. Ball handler goes, obviously very close to the sideline, near the division line, right by the home coach. Right. He's got a perfect look at the play. My partner did not perceive, I guess the player stepped on the line while they were dribbling, and was out of bounds. My partner didn't perceive it. From my angle, I couldn't perceive it. I mean, it's always tough as lead to, get down to receive the play and still have a look over the shoulder on that sideline. So we missed the call, right? It happened right in front of the coach. I believe that he probably stepped out of bounds, right? But the holding on, right? Just not recognizing, oh, they missed that one, and moving on. I mean, some coaches just have the ability to say, oh, they missed that. Yeah, right. It wasn't like it. It's in the big picture, it's subtle, but also not recognizing where the officials are, right? If the official had his head turned and or was looking at players when that occurred, right? Anyway, just held on to that missed call for like a minute, right? You missed the call. And not moving on. It's kind of amazing, to me, anyway. All right, Gary, good to see you. We are going to now shift our focus to the rundown. Almost. Oh, fantastic. All right, every Wednesday, basketball rules experts, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Even during this week between Christmas and New Year's, we are live talking about rules scenarios so we can get better with the rules of high school basketball. And then every Friday, we go 5 Play Friday and look at game video and analyze all the things. If you're new to the stream, put your name in the chat down below. I'd be pleased to meet you. If you're new to me, my name is Greg Austin with A Better Official, and we craft some video and do some stuff with some live streaming and all that. And, of course, if you have an opinion about a play, a question, a follow-up, a scenario that we could discuss that you had in your game, you can always jump in the chat and put your voice in the game. You can always share the stream, put it on the socials, do all the things. You can take a moment to hit like. Helps us get it in front of more basketball officials. Let me put that down. And there we have it. Good morning, Martin. Now, why? I did not press that comment. I pressed that comment. Why the other one showed up? I don't know. Gremlins. Yeah, so we all had another scenario, visiting coach, right? So it became obvious. Home coach was concerned about traveling. Felt we were missing traveling by the opponents. Visiting coach felt that was concerned about hand checking. We were missing hand checking calls by the opponent. Hand checking fouls by the opponent. Right? That became clear early on. right? And so when that's the situation, we certainly want to be aware of that. Does that mean we're going to respond and make stuff up or what have you? But we're aware that that's a concern, right? And so we had like 2 consecutive plays coming down. We have a hand check called against the home team. And the third one, right, we come down and there is a hand checking foul called by my partner, right? But our visiting coach is like, that's hand checking. You guys had that. And like, it has sort of an emotional outburst, right? Maybe the whistle didn't come soon enough for his liking or what have you. And to me, it's just like, okay, we have crossed a threshold here. So my partner is going to report. I think we were going to shoot free throws, so they were going to stay tableside. And basically, I just got up. It's like I was willing. We are going to assess a warning on the coach. We have gotten to that point where we need to take some action. I don't think it rose to the level of a technical foul, but so basically, just sort of got into my partner's peripheral. He reports the foul, and let him know, hey, partner, we have got to assess a warning here. You want to do it, or shall I? Right? Since he was the calling official, the coach was his negative energy was coming towards my partner. It seems that my partner would be the one to assess the administrative warning for bench behavior on the coach. And so, he responded to that suggestion and we did that. And magically, from that point, the game got better. It's good to have that in our tool belt so that we can affect the game positively and move forward. All right. I see what I did. Okay. All right. Hey, today we're going to look at 10 questions. Stick around. Number 9 and 10 are tough ones. Number 10, a correctable error scenario. But let's get started and look at rules questions. Greetings and welcome back to the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take National Federation of High School basketball rules and lift them off the printed page, breathe life into them, simplify, clarify, amplify, so that we can take those rules with us onto the basketball court. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. I've been a high school basketball official for over a decade. Consider myself to be a bit of a basketball rules expert, and this show is all about helping you on a journey to becoming a basketball rules expert as well. Do allow me a moment to appeal for an opportunity for you to hit like, subscribe, and notify so you don't miss out on any of our new content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday. Join us for the live stream. Put your voice in the game, and that way we can all get better together. Allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters who fuel our broadcast: Charles Fogel, Fred Thompson, David Barnett, Nick Hahn, and Janice Brown. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? There will be a link in the show notes, and you can have an opportunity to do that as well. All right, today we are looking at rules questions, rules scenarios to help us improve as basketball officials, to make sure that we can take those rules with us onto the court, to keep sharp and keep our understanding of the rules, fill in any cracks that we may have. Think about variations on plays, etc., so that we can adjudicate plays properly when we go on to the basketball court. Let me do that. Let me make sure I know where the heck I'm at. Right. Let me go back. Okay. I should have gone there sooner. All right. Patrick, good to see you. Good to see you jumping on. Appreciate that. Yeah. This is the most awkward of the transitions in the show. I see where I am. So let's get started today with our very first rules question. When can a 3-second violation occur? A, when the ball is in the team's backcourt. B, when the ball is out of bounds during a throw-in. C, during an interrupted dribble in the team's front court. Or D, when a try is in flight. Right? A super simple question to help us get started today on Basketball Rules Expert. Right? And this one goes out to all those parents in the stands who are yelling, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, with a complete misunderstanding of the rule. But of course, we bring with us a complete understanding of the rule and 3 seconds, right? A 3-second violation may only occur when the ball is in team control in the front court, right? Makes things super simple. So in A, when the ball is in the team's backcourt, we cannot have a 3-second violation. When the ball is out of bounds during a throw-in, no, we cannot have a 3-second violation. And D, when a try is in flight, do we have team control? No. No, we do not. So obviously our correct answer here is C. During an interrupted dribble, right, where team control still exists, we can have a 3-second violation. Now, this may not be our highest priority in this situation. We may be focusing on, right, obviously we're going to have players competing for the basketball, but this is the only one of these 4 situations where it is even possible to have a 3-second violation, right? So that's our correct answer on this play. And it's a simple scenario, right? A lot of times we get pressure in the game. Right. A lot of times we get pressure in the game from outside forces, from those who do not know the rules. Coaches, stakeholders in the game, fans, right? We get energy from the stands. 3 seconds, 3 seconds. We get it in a situation with multiple putbacks as well, right? We just have to recognize the fact that this is a very misunderstood rule in high school basketball. We don't want to misunderstand the rule, but it is what it is. Right. 3 seconds should not be called if a player begins a try, right? And so sometimes we are lead, Jacob. Sometimes we are at lead. We've got a player who's camped in the lane, and we are going to call a 3-second violation. And then suddenly we realize, oh my gosh, a try is beginning or maybe in flight, or, we didn't have that. We want to be, of course, ball aware, but sometimes a shot can occur and we're not aware of it as lead. Not that this happened to me in a D2 scrimmage this season. No, it didn't. Where I was lead and I'm calling, yeah. No, it was the situation was a steal. a steal occurs off to my peripheral, a sudden steal, and I was ruling a 3-second violation. Embarrassing. Own it. Yeah. Chuck has it, as does the Zooch, David Krieg, Los Santon. Everybody's got this. This is an easy question to get us started. We appreciate easy, and also we appreciate not a lot of words. Oh, I screwed that up. Right? I was looking at questions this morning, and it was just like easy. If it's got too many words, it's out. Although our correctable error play at the end does have that. All right, so have I got my sequence down? I've got my sequence down. I think we're ready to roll. Right. I do my transition. All right, a super simple 3-second question to get us started today. Let's look now at our next rules question. During a throw-in, A1 passes the ball to A2, who is located in the front court. A2 fumbles the ball and the ball goes into the back court. A2 retrieves the ball and dribbles back to the front court. This is a backcourt violation. A, correct. B, incorrect. Right? This, in the recent years and for new officials, this question comes up over and over again. Right? Perception about this play. The throw-in contacts a teammate in the front court, goes into the back court because it was deflected off the player, goes into the backcourt, player goes into the backcourt and recovers the basketball, right? Really straightforward scenario, one that happens a lot in our game. Obviously, we need to be aware of the rules regarding backcourt. And one of the essential elements is that first and foremost, we must have team control on the court. During a throw-in, we have team control, but it's only given to the team during the throw-in for the administration of fouls, right? We can't have a backcourt violation until we have team control on the court. So in this situation where the player, the throw-in pass is deflected by a teammate, bounces into the backcourt, the player A2 picks up the basketball in the backcourt. That is the point where we have established team control on the court because we have player control on the court. Player control, holding or dribbling the basketball, not the deflection. So in this instance, our correct answer is no. This is not a backcourt violation. The correct answer is B. This is incorrect, right? And we need to be aware of that distinction, right? And we need to be aware of that distinction, right? That the requirement is we must have team control on the court in order for there to be a backcourt violation by rule, right? Once we know that, makes our lives a lot easier, right? Now, sometimes we can have throw-in situations that, are less obvious, right? A division line throw-in to a teammate who's close, who goes in the backcourt, everything's in our purview here. Sometimes when we get like an end line throw-in and it comes back to the division line, we sort of get disconnected with the concept that this is still during a throw-in, right? We have to be aware of that. But a simple and straightforward rules question, one that we have to know. Pardon me. B, yeah. All right, Jason. Great to hear. He's done well with his test. First Rookie year, as smooth as possible. That is awesome. That is awesome, right? So if we can help rookies, right, feel more comfortable on the court, etc., get them through, the sort of the rough patches of rookiedom. Of course, like what I try to profess to first year officials is your first year. Yeah, there's the game on the court, and feeling confident that you can administer the game, adjudicate plays correctly, etc. Right? But a big part of our first year officials' life is, where's the gym? Where do I park? Where do I go? Who do I see? Who's this partner I've never worked with before? How do we work together, etc.? How do I manage all my stuff? How do I make sure everything comes with me to the game and everything goes home afterward? How do I prepare my gear for the next game? And just sort of the basic meat and potatoes of the functionality of getting assignments, dealing with assigners, managing all of that stuff so that we're accurate and we're not surprised and miss something along the way. And just the meat and potatoes of pardon me, getting to the game and doing all that. And then the actual officiating part of it is sometimes less of a deal. But Jacob, that's great to hear. I'm sorry, Jason. Jason, that's great to hear. Dakota Ted says, no violation. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. It is true. Oh, well. 'Tis what it is. All right, so at the end of each question, I do this transition thing. The transition is really just for my editing purposes. Makes it easier. Backcourt on a throw-in, right? We need to nail that down, and we do with that previous question. But now let's look at our next rules question. A1 is located in the backcourt and passes the ball towards the front court. B1, located in the front court, taps the ball back towards the backcourt. A1 jumps from the front court, catches the ball before it hits the backcourt, then lands in the front court. The officials rule a backcourt violation. Were the officials correct or incorrect? Right? We imagine this scenario. Players in the backcourt, we have team control on the court, throws the ball towards the front court. Defensive team contacts the basketball, knocks it back. Teammate of the thrower jumps from the backcourt rather, catches the ball in the air and lands in the front court. If we see that sort of ping pong ball action, that could throw us for a loop. Right? We may be surprised by the sequence of events. This may be a processing play. Right? We're thinking things through, right? But if we always remember our three elements that must be in place for a backcourt violation. We must have team control on the court. We had that in this situation. We must be the last to touch in the front court and the first to touch in the backcourt, right? So if we think of this play scenario, who was the last to touch the ball in the front court? The defense. The defense was, right? B1 in the front court tapped the ball back. So we cannot have a backcourt violation on this play. Now, of course, if we are aware, in 2007, there was a rules interpretation that said when the defense contacts the ball, the offensive team must allow the ball to land in the back. It was an erroneous ruling, and one that if you don't know about it, it's better not to know about it. Right? And then in reaction to that, trying to fix it, NFHS created some additional language in the backcourt rule, which did not really help in the situation, in my opinion. But be that what it may, be that as it may, our correct answer on this play is incorrect. This is not a backcourt violation by rule. right? Because we have the missing element on the play. The team in control was not the last to touch in the front court, right? Our simple formula, if something's missing, there's no violation. This is a legal play. We could understand, though, why this would be a heavy processing play, right? The ping pong action around the division line, front court status achieved, jumping from the back court to the front court. All of these things can, give us pause and force us to think. But in the end, we process it all. We recognize we did not meet the criteria of our formula, and we have no backcourt violation by rule. Yeah. Thomas Hennian jumping in from Virginia. We all know this is incorrect. A lot of words on the question, but incorrect by rule because we have that missing element. And now I'm going to do this. That is delicious. I'm going to do that. All right, a second backcourt rules question to keep us sharp. Got to know the backcourt rules. Let's move on now to our next rules question. A1 is holding the ball but losing her balance. Which of the following results in a violation? A1 touches the floor with one hand while holding the ball with the other. B, A1 touches the floor with her knee. C, A1 touches teammate A2's arm while A2's foot is partially out of bounds. Or D, A1 touches the floor with the ball which she is holding. Right? A1 holding the basketball, loses her balance, touches the floor with one hand. Is that legal? Hands and feet, always legal, right? The player could go down to a prone position, a push-up position, holding on one hand, right? Legal. Touches a teammate's arm while that teammate is out of bounds. That's the one that's the puzzler, right? It's like, wait a minute, if the ball contacts the player who's out of bounds, it's out of bounds. Can the player holding the ball contact a player or a person, right? Such as an official, while the official is out of bounds, right? That is legal by rule. The ball can't contact that person, that individual. The player on the court can. I like how it says, while one foot is partially out of bounds. If a foot is in contact with the area off the court, the foot is out of bounds. That player is out of bounds. And A1 touches the floor with the ball which she is holding, right? So a player losing their balance, holding the basketball, places the ball on the floor to help them gain their balance. That is also legal by rule. So our correct answer on this play is obviously B. A1 touches the floor with her knee. A player may not touch while holding the basketball, may not touch the floor with anything other than their hands or their feet. If they put an arm down, that is illegal. If they put a knee down, that is illegal. If they fall on their backside, that is illegal. Hands, feet, legal. Straightforward. Easy to remember. Hands, feet, legal. Even if we see awkward gymnastic displays by a player who, let's say this player put the ball down and then was still losing their balance, picked the ball up and put a hand down, got into that wild prone position. All of these things would be legal by rule, right? And we see something. There's a lot of things going on. Visual stimulus. Everybody thinks, oh, that's got to be something, right? There's energy rises in the building. But our brain is saying, where's the illegal? Where's the illegal? I don't see illegal. That is always a risk. The misread is always a risk. All right, I love the simplicity of the questions today. Let me do this. Let me do this. A key takeaway from that one that we could take with us onto the court, is we're going to see all sorts of extravagant stuff, unusual things. Energy rises and falls in the building. But we're waiting for our brain to say that right there is illegal. If we respond to that and respond to that only, we're in better position to adjudicate plays properly. All right, let's look now at another rules question. With 8 minutes remaining on the pregame clock, A1, who is listed as a starter in the scorebook, suffers a sprained ankle and is unable to begin the game. The head coach for Team A needs to replace A1 as a starter to begin the game. What is true about this situation? A, because it is after the 10-minute mark during pregame, this change in the scorebook would require an administrative technical foul to be made. B, because A1 was already listed as a starter, the player must be on the floor for the opening tip. C, if a player is removed from the starting lineup, the player may not participate in the game. Or D, if the player is unable to start the game due to injury or illness, there is no penalty to replace the player, and the player may return to the game without penalty when they are again able to play. Right? So it's an unusual situation. Something that doesn't happen frequently, but one that could give us pause. We're getting ready for the game. Pre-game, we're watching the players' footwork, etc. Shooters, identifying left-handed shooters, looking at the post-play warm-ups, all the things, equipment on the players so that we could start the game promptly. And then something unusual happens, and the coach says, hey, ref, one of my players, injured themselves, and so I'm going to have to replace them in the starting lineup. They may come to you and say, I don't know what happens next here. Is that something, has this risen to the level of something illegal? But it helps us here to think about the fact that in National Federation of High School Basketball rules, it's a participation sport. Players may begin the game, they may get injured, they may have blood, they may have a lost contact lens and need to leave the game. They may have illegal equipment on and be told to leave the game. Players can always return to the game until they are disqualified, right? So that's a basic concept that we could take with us onto the court. Players are always allowed to return to the game. Now, wait a minute. At other levels, right, like NBA, if a player's injured and can't shoot their free throws, and then they can't play in the game anymore, right? So there can be some sort of perception that there's a restriction that comes when a player is unable to do something. But in this situation, no such restriction exists. Our correct answer here is D. If the player is unable to start the game, they can be replaced by another player in the starting line. If they are unable to start the game due to injury or illness, right? Players twist their ankle, right? They're not going to play in this game, right? So that's really straightforward. An awareness that we can bring with us onto the basketball court. There may be some confusion around this, like our scorekeeper may be confused, the visiting coach. Maybe we need to do some communication about what our situation is, right? The other coach is like, oh, that's a technical foul, or something weird, right? And we may have to, talk people off the ledge and say what we have here is a replacement of a starter for injury or illness. This is legal by rule, right? That player may then further participate, but of course they could not participate until the clock had properly started. They could not substitute back into the game until the clock had properly started. So a straightforward but unusual play that could catch us a little off guard in that time frame of the pregame warm-ups, where we are getting our thoughts together, preparing to officiate the game, and busy doing other things, identifying things on the court. Right. Thomas, Chuck, Gary, David, everybody's going to get this right. These are not hard questions. We appreciate that. All right, a simple question, but one that could catch us a bit off guard in that pre-game scenario. But let's now look at another rules question. After A1's try is released and is in flight, the official inadvertently blows the whistle. The ball hits the ring, but the try is unsuccessful. What is the result? A, the throw-in is awarded to Team A regardless of the direction of the possession arrow. B, the throw-in is awarded to Team B regardless of the direction of the possession arrow. C, the throw-in is to the team entitled to the alternating possession throw-in. Or D, the throw-in is at the spot nearest to where the try was unsuccessful, right? So we have a situation where a player releases a try for goal. The official inadvertently blows a whistle. Does the ball become dead? Right. That's the first thing we absolutely have to understand is, does that whistle make the ball dead when a try is in flight? Right? No, it does not. So the result of the try will count despite the whistle, the inadvertent whistle, right? So that's rule number one. Status, live ball, dead ball, have to know that in that situation, right? But the try misses. The ball now becomes dead when the try misses. What do we do next? We have to resume play. We're going to use one of the three methods for resuming play. Those are either going to be a free throw, a jump ball, or in this case, a throw-in. Who gets the throw-in, right? We have no team control, and we have a throw-in that is due, right? So we have to go then to the possession arrow, right? This is simple. This is straightforward. We like simple and straightforward. So we are going to go to the possession arrow, and we're going to reward an alternating possession throw-in to the team that has the arrow. So our correct answer here is going to be C. A throw-in to the team entitled to the alternating possession throw-in. And the throw-in would be at the spot nearest to where the ball was when the try ended. So we're going to have an end-line throw-in to the team that has the ball for throw-in, right? Simple and straightforward. That's a big part of why we have alternating possession throw-ins, so that we can resolve situations like this. In the NBA, they would have if we have this same situation, they're going to have a jump ball at the nearest circle. Of course, in high school, we do not have jump balls once we have the initial jump ball. Really straightforward. We like straightforward in our game. So we're going to the alternating possession arrow here when we have an inadvertent whistle rather, while a try is in flight and the try misses. Now, what if the ball had gone in, right? If the ball had gone in, then we would go to our point of interruption, which would be the ball entering the basket. The opponent of the team that scored would have an end-line throw-in, non-designated spot throw-in, right? Think those through. Straightforward. We like straightforward. We like easy. Patrick, just assert your right. So we can think it through. Okay. Well, let's say we say that the AirPods can be worn. Oh, all right, so I'm going to have the big headphones, right, that were popular, the Beats by Dre, big headphones. Are we going to allow those? We're going to allow headphones with a wire down to an iPod stuck in the back pocket, or maybe a pocket in a shooting shirt or something like that, a warm-up jacket or something. Are we going to allow that? Right? So we can go to ad absurdum and think of bigger and cords and all sorts of stuff. Obviously, AirPods are discreet and they're small, but so is a piece of jewelry and a nose, right? So, it's easy and straightforward to say, no, you can't wear tonight. I don't care what the other officials said. Tonight, we are not having that. You are not wearing those during warmups. If we think about the worst case scenario, right? Teammate is throwing a pass across the court to another teammate. This guy steps in the way and gets hit in the ear. Maybe less damaging than a piece of jewelry, which could tear the ear, but still dangerous. And if it's not a thing and it's just like you want to allow it, that's not the end of the world as well. But it's easy to just say we're not having that tonight. We're not having that tonight. You got to take them out if you want to continue warming up. Straight forward. So, a little refresher there on inadvertent whistle during a try that is in flight. Let's look up. All right, a little refresher there on an inadvertent whistle while a try is in flight. But now let's look at our next rules question. Team B scores a basket with 6 seconds left in the game, and the score is A 65, B 64, a 1-point lead. Team B applies tight pressure on the throw-in by A1. The ball is kicked by B3 near the end line. A, charge B3 with a technical foul for kicking the ball. B, Team B receives a designated spot throw-in on the end line. C, Team A retains the privilege to run the end line on the ensuing throw-in. Or D, Team A should receive a designated spot throw-in along the end line since the throw-in legally ended when B3 touched the ball. Right? So that's the sort of the conundrum here is, well, okay, we know it's a violation, and we know we're going to have a resulting throw-in related to the violation. Great. Right? But what kind of throw-in is it? Right? This is sort of a unique situation that can occur after a made basket and the team has the ability to run the end line. We have a kicked ball in that situation. Does the team retain that ability, or do we go to what would normally be the penalty for a kicked ball, which would be a designated spot throw-in nearest where the ball was kicked? Right? And this is so it's understandable why we would have some confusion about this rule because, in all other situations, a kicked ball would result in a designated spot throw-in. But in this situation where a team has the ability to run, right, does that override this, right? So that's a logical question that could catch us a little off guard, right? And the fact that we're putting it in an end-of-game scenario, right, where this what we do on this play becomes really important. And that's also a great thing to recognize. Anytime we have a rules question, right, if we can apply it to an end-of-game scenario where our ruling will have a critical affect the outcome of the game, and we want to get everything 100% correct, right? If this play occurred with 7 minutes remaining in the first period and we get it wrong, it's like not such a big deal. So if we always apply rule scenarios and think, okay, in an end-of-game situation with 2 seconds left, tie game, 1-point lead, etc., right? So in this situation, it's important to understand that National Federation of High School Rules says they retain the privilege after the made basket and this situation occurs, right? That's the default when team scores and has that privilege and the opponents do something illegal. The default is we're not going to take away that privilege as a result. So if the defense had an excessive swinging of elbows violation, any sort of violation here that it does not take away that designated spot capability, right? So understanding that the basic default is always retain the privilege to run the end line. Retain the privilege to run the end line. If we keep that as a default that we could take with us onto the basketball court, we're in the best position to get these plays, which may take us aback in the moment to get these plays correct by rule. That was hard work. Good morning, Chili Bob. How's it going for you? Bob, when will we see you on the basketball court? That's the question we have here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. Jacob says, it bothers me the clock doesn't stop on scored goals in the last minute. Anyone else? I'll tell you what, working NCAA women's, there's two elements. One is the clock stops in the final minute, and the other is in NCAA women's, you call a timeout. In that situation, you can advance the ball to the front court. Those two things really bring a lot of benefit to the game, right? Whether that it would be appropriate to do that at the high school level, because again, whenever we think about high school, we have to think, okay, high-level varsity game, three-person crew, officials, the highest level in that association and working those games. But at the opposite end of the spectrum, there's the freshman girls game, the freshman boys game, where the table crew, etc. We have to think about the full gamut, right? The full gamut, like when Minnesota adopts the restricted area, I believe it is only for varsity games, right? So and they probably have a situation where varsity games are always done three-person, right? So this makes a lot of sense in that context. So it'll be interesting to see if somebody at the high school level tries to do a test with stopping the clock in the final minute. But to me, stopping the clock in the final minute and the ability to advance the basketball is really makes for, the game is never over almost if we have a close game. Even if there's, because if you have an end line throw in with 1 second remaining, right, and you're in NCAA men's or high school, and a team has to go the length of the court and score in 1 second, the chances of even getting off a shot are really low. But if that team can advance the ball to the front court, right, in that same situation, a lot more likely that they could get off a shot. So Chili Bob says, where are you working today? Today I am doing an East Bay game in Oakland at Head Royce. I have only one game. Sounds like many on here have multiple games. My work schedule just does not allow that. For me, boo. Let's see. Where do we stand? Okay. We've got 3 questions. No. So we have a huge tournament, high-level varsity girls tournament here in the area that Bob and I live here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, and it's usually an absolute crush of games for our association to handle. I had received a couple of East Bay games previously, so I did have a Jamboree game assigned on Thursday, but that was canceled. There have been a lot of cancellations due to COVID, teams backing out, unable to play. One of the teams that I had last night had maybe 7 or 8 players, but I think their full squad is more like 15. But they had players knocked out and unable to play due to COVID issues. I don't know what a POS throw is. POS. So to answer your question, Bob, I am not doing any Jamboree games currently. I do have an open date on Thursday, but yeah. So if something comes available on Thursday, I'm available. But no. And there are many officials who are working 4 or 5 games, carrying the load for me, because I am not. So that is that. All right, I like it. Hey, 7 questions. No. 7 questions down, 3 questions to go. Let's look at our next rules question. To which team and where is the throw-in that follows a double technical foul that occurs while Team A has control of the ball? A, Team A at the division line. B, Team A at the point of interruption nearest the spot of the double technical foul. C, Team A at the point of interruption nearest the spot where the ball was located. Or D, to the team with the alternating possession arrow nearest the point of interruption at the spot of the double technical foul, right? So this could throw us for a loop, right? Let's say we have 2 players who start jawing at each other under the basket while the ball is in play. Double T's are assessed to those 2 players by the lead official. Trail official has the ball being closely guarded near the division line while this occurs. Where do we go next, etc. Right? A lot of things come into play. Well, technical fouls, division line opposite the table. Double. Right, we go to the spot nearest the foul, nearest where the players were located, etc. A lot of things can come into play, and we could potentially become a little confused. But of course, our key concept on this play is double. Double, technical, double, foul. Always. No free throws will be shot. Resume play at the point of interruption. What does point of interruption mean? It means what was going on. Team A had team control, was dribbling the ball near the division line. That is the point of interruption. Ball to that team at the spot nearest to where the ball was in that instance, right? Double means point of interruption. No free throws shot, point of interruption. Simple and straightforward. So our correct answer here is C. Team A at the point of interruption nearest to where the ball was, nearest to the spot where the ball was located, right? If we could take that verbiage with us in our brain, double foul. Okay, that's point of interruption, ball at the spot nearest to where it was. Now, let's say a try was in flight in this situation, right? Let's say a try was in flight. Well, then what would we have? What's our point of interruption, right? There's no team control, but does the ball become dead when the double technical fouls? Again, status. If the try was in flight and this play occurred and double technicals, we have a whistle. The official says double technical, ball goes in the basket. What do we do now, right? The ball was not dead due to the whistle for the double technical. So our point of interruption is score the goal. Let's say the try had missed, right? Point of interruption was no team control. After the try ended, we would, as in our previous question, go to the possession arrow for the resulting free throw. So if we could take with us onto the court that double technical, double personal, double intentional, double flagrant will always, always, always be no free throws attempted, ball at the point of interruption. And I mean it. Point of the spot. That's one way to put the words together. Yeah. Al Kennedy's in the house. He snuck in on us. How are you, Al? Good to see you. On the stream, we've gone over some relatively easy questions today. Easy peasy. That's the way we like it. If we have just one takeaway today, and we can always remember that double, no free throws attempted, ball play resumed at the point of interruption. That's a valuable thing that we can always take with us onto the basketball court. But now our question number is dwindling down. We are now at our penultimate question. The fourth quarter ends with the score tied 60-60. As the players for the two teams walk towards their respective benches, A1 curses at one of the officials because no foul was called on a last-second shot attempt. The officials assess a technical foul against A1. A. The free throws awarded to Team B are a continuation of the fourth period. If any Team B player makes another one, either of the two free throws, Team B wins the game in regulation 61-60. B. The free throws awarded to Team B are at the start of the extra period. If any Team B player makes either of the two free throws, Team B wins the game in overtime 61-60. C. No free throws are awarded to Team B and the extra period starts with a jump ball. Or D. The free throws awarded to Team B are the start of the extra period. Following the two free throws, Team B will have a designated spot throw-in at the division line opposite the table, and Team A will have the alternating possession arrow, right? So, again, we always want to think how to adjudicate plays in end-of-game scenarios, because the way that we adjudicate a play in this scenario is going to have a dramatic a dramatic effect on the outcome of the game. If we make a mistake in this situation, a team may win the game in a fashion that they should not have been allowed by rule. And if we make a mistake in end-of-game situations, the team that comes out on the short end of the decision has no opportunity to correct for a mistake that we make, right? So always thinking through end-of-game scenarios. And now this is a scenario, tie game, technical foul after the expiration of time. How often does this happen? Not a lot, but if we don't fully understand what happens next, we can really take the game in the wrong direction, right? So it's critical to understand that if a technical foul occurs after all activity related to a period, that the penalty for that foul is part of the next period. That's our initial concept that we have to have on this play. Let's say it's the end of the first period and the same thing occurs. Or it's, let's say, the end of the second period, right? And the same thing occurs. The period has ended, the horn has sounded, a player thought they were fouled, comes at the official, does something that they are then assessed a technical foul for that activity. Are we going to then shoot those free throws? No, because the second period had ended. Those free throws will be part of the next period. So that's our fundamental concept that we take from the first period to the second to the third to the fourth. Now, we also have a situation here where it is an end-of-game scenario. Time has expired in the fourth period. If the score was not tied in this situation, then we are going to potentially say, okay, in that unique scenario, the technical foul, since we're not going to have another period necessarily, we have to then bring that penalty back into the fourth period, right? So that's a unique situation, right? If the team that was ahead was assessed a technical foul after the game, let's say the coach was really irate at the crew, even though they had the 1-point lead, and the coach berates the crew and is assessed a technical foul. In that situation, we would say, okay, since the technical foul will result in those free throws, and those free throws could affect the outcome of the game, we will attempt those free throws as part of the fourth period. That's a unique situation. But to get back to our play scenario, in this situation, the score is tied, right? So the key thing here, the key takeaway here is we have to begin the next period with the assessment of this penalty. That's what we're going to do here in this scenario. So our correct answer here, long way around, is that D. The free throws awarded to Team B are part of the extra period, right? Part of the extra period since the game was tied and there is an extra period to follow. Then we say, okay, then we're going to start the period with the assessment of those technical foul free throws. And after technical foul free throws, we always resume with a division line throw in opposite to the table to the offended team. And when the ball is at the disposal of the thrower, the possession arrow is set to the opponent. So, right? End of game scenarios, we've got to be great with end of game scenarios because all the things. Oh. Tell you what, let me go back here. So, a question that brings about how we can adjudicate a play in an end of game scenario when we have to dominate end of game scenarios and rules adjudication, right? That end of game period, we have to be at our best and make no mistakes, right? Perfection is required. Now, we want to, in all of our rules adjudication, have perfection, but obviously in an end of game scenario, that is where it really, really comes to bear, and we have to be at our best. Oy. Everybody's got D. Al, except Al has A because the free throws will determine the game. That would apply if the score was not tied, Al, but in a situation where the score is tied, we have an extra period to follow. So the penalty will be administered as part of the extra period. Martin Tim had a situation last game. Table was messing up the game. Close game, fourth quarter. Substitute enters the game. Throw-in occurs. Immediately, a horn sounds, and we blow it dead. Says, sorry, coach wants to substitute. Okay, right. So the table erroneously sounds the horn, and the substitute enters the game. Yeah. Well, so let's say the substitute didn't enter the game. It's a little unclear, Martin. The horn sounds, right? We've stopped play because the coach wanted a sub, right? But now where are we at? We are at dead ball. Who could substitute during a dead ball? In high school, there's never any restriction. Right? At other levels, collegiate levels, players have to be at the table in certain situations. If there's an inadvertent whistle in the final minute, substitutes can't come in and things like this. But in National Federation, if the ball is dead, who can request or who can substitute in that situation? Both teams without restriction. Without restriction. Okay. Yeah. All right, 9 questions down, 1 to go, a correctable error scenario. Let's see if we can nail this one. B3 commits a common foul on A3. It is Team B's 7th foul, but the scorer fails to recognize it, and the ball is awarded to Team A. A quick basket is scored by Team A, and the scorer then sounds the horn to notify the officials of the error. A, it is too late to correct the error. B, alternating possession arrow after the free throws. C, play will resume with the result of the bonus free throws awarded to A3. Or D, award A3 a bonus free throw with no players on the free throw lane line and the basket counts. Award Team B the ball for a throw-in. Right? So we have a situation where merited free throws were not awarded. Right? In this situation, and then we are presented with resulting action occurs, and the horn sounds and says, hey, ref, we should not have shot, or we should have shot merited free throws, right? So we immediately need to freeze frame on the game. What is our point of interruption? End line throw it. Has there been a change of possession? Team A had the ball, now Team B has the ball, right? We have those two facts, and now let's go to our correctable error scenario. Are we within the correctable error time frame? Is this correctable by rule, right? The ball became live when we erroneously gave the team the ball for a throw-in. The ball became live. They dribbled around. They released a try. The ball went in the basket. The ball has become dead. At this point, the table notifies our crew. Are we within the correctable error time frame? Yes. Yes, we are. If the ball had become live after the dead ball, when the ball went in the basket, then our correctable error time frame would have closed. But in this situation, the play is correctable. Okay? Important to understand that. So how do we resume the game? In this situation, we have two facts. There's been a change of possession. Team A had the ball, and now Team B has the ball for the resulting throw-in. There's been a change of possession, right? And we know our point of interruption. Since that's the fact, since that's the case, our correct adjudication here is to say, okay, we're going to resume with that end line throw-in, but we still have to award the merited free throws. So we're going to clear the lane, award the merited free throws. If it's 1-1 and they miss the first, then we're done. If they make the first, they get a second. The result of those free throws goes in the game, and we're going to resume with that end line throw-in. Right? So that's the key thing to remember when we have this situation. And what's really important about this situation is, if we identify it, is this is a situation where merited free throws should have been awarded and had failed to be awarded. Of all the correctable error scenarios, right, of which there are 5, and 4 of them revolve around free throws being merited, unmerited, or this brain fart, right? This is the most common, right? Of those 5, this one probably will be 80% of all correctable error scenarios you encounter. So how to adjudicate these plays is critical. And what we have to know in order to adjudicate properly is, has there been a change of possession? We gave the ball to Team A. Has Team B now have the ball? Or does Team A still have the ball? If Team A still had the ball here, and we received the notification from the table, then we would resume with the game with the bonus free throws. But since the goal has been scored and Team B now has the ball, we're going to resume with that Team B throw-in. So our key takeaway on this play, the correct answer here is, of course, D, award A3 bonus free throws with no players on the free throw lane line and the goal scores. Award Team B the ball for a resulting non-designated spot throw-in. That is our correct answer on this play, right? And so what we need to do is say, okay, is have those two pieces of information. What is our point of interruption, and has there been a change of possession? Then we can go to correctable error time frame. Is it correctable? Yes, it is. How are we going to resume, right? If we dominate in correctable errors only in this one situation where merited free throws were failed to be awarded, we get most of our bang for buck and understanding of correctable error scenarios, right? Because this is the one that's going to happen most frequently. We don't usually award merited free throws, and we should not have, right? We can have a situation where we don't fail to score a goal, a 3-point goal was not marked as 3 or scored as 3, etc. Those are probably the next most common. But this one where we failed to award because the board says 6, right? It's a scenario we come across frequently. So if we can nail this one, we're better off for it. On the previous play, Mike Goodwin, his key point, if the quarter ends and the score is not tied, we shoot the free throws if they would affect the outcome of the game. Yes, we do. So team A team A is ahead by 1 when the horn sounds. Team A coach does something that merits technical foul free throw. Since the resulting free throws would affect the score, we would. Same situation, team B coach says, you guys, assess a technical foul as we're leaving. We are not going to attempt free throws because they would not affect the outcome of the game. So that's just one clarification on there. Right, so Mike Goodwin sums it up well. D, because the field goal is a change of possession. D. All right, Dave, kick ass. We'll see you Friday. All right, everybody's got to run and do games, and I'm just sitting here, just going to be on the couch, baby, for a little bit. My workday has not started. Thomas has it as well, right? So this, could certainly throw the crew for a loop in the moment, as with any correctable error situation. As with any correctable error situation, there's going to be some processing, in determining what has just happened. But if we can just take a quick moment and say, okay, what's our point of interruption? Has there been a change of possession, right? That'll help us. And now that's our correctable error time frame. Or we could do it and determine the time frame first and then point of interruption and whether or not there'd been a change of possession. I think. William, I'll get to that question in just a second. And the answer is yes. It could mean 4 points for Team A. Hey. Go to end screen. Give me just a second. Okay. I don't want that. Right. Hey, thanks for joining us today for Basketball Rules Expert. Hope you found value. If you find this kind of content to provide value to you as a basketball official, great time to do all the things. You can hit like, subscribe, and the notify bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday. If you hit like, it gets the video in front of more basketball officials, and we can all get better together. Allow me to thank those who fuel our broadcasts, our tremendous show supporters: Charles Fogel, Fred Thompson, David Barnett, Nick Hahn, and Janice Brown. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I'll put a link above, and I'll put one in the show notes below. Awesome. We have additional video content available for you here. I have selected this video for your perusal YouTube says this one would be better. You make your selection, choose wisely, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Damn, that went pretty well. All right, we're working out the kinks. William, yes, so this error could turn into 4 points for Team A, right? And it's a unique scenario in that that can occur. Let me get rid of this. And, you know, there could be some sense of, wait a minute, we can't possibly have this, right? But we're just following things by rule. By rule, we the free throws were merited and were not attempted. The ball has become dead. Everything that has occurred to that point will count in the game. The correctable error rules say, hey, we have an opportunity to correct that error. They should have been awarded those free throws. They are awarded those free throws, and we resume. Yeah, so you can't have that 4-point play scenario. You can get pushback from the other coach. Wait a minute. No. This can't be right, right? So we want to, of course, have that confidence that the rules properly adjudicated do allow that scenario to occur. Thanks, Gary. This is, yeah, so I'm super excited. For the first time. Super excited. This is going to be really easy to edit. Really easy to edit. I'm going to do it right after the show. And yeah. We're working out the kinks. Gary's heading out. Everybody, make it a great day on the court. Multiple games. Hang in there if the fatigue sets in. Deal with all those clueless parents who want that 3-second call while the ball's in the back court. And make it a great one. Jacob is asking about that end of game scenario. So we're talking about tie game. Player felt they were fouled. Horn sounds 60-60. A1 receives a technical foul. Is that the situation we're talking about? Let me clarify that. Oh, okay. If the team is down 1. All right, so Team A is ahead 61-60. Horn sounds. Team A coach has not been happy with this crew and say, you know, we won that game in spite of you guys. You guys are terrible, right? And F-bomb or something like that, something that cannot be avoided. We're making our way off the court, or the coach tracks, gets in the way of the crew and says, you guys suck, you guys are terrible, whack, right? Technical foul. Could the resulting free throws affect the outcome of the game? The opponent is down by 1 point. Yes, they could, right? So we're going to go back. They're going to shoot those free throws. If they make 1, we're going to go to overtime. If they make 2, that ball game is over. And if they miss both, the ball game is over, and we are exiting. That's how we would adjudicate that. Switch it. Team B coach, right? The losing coach does the same behavior. Whack as we leave, right? We can take care of the of the reporting of that after the fact. If it was a flagrant and disqualifying technical foul, we could do that as well. But the resulting free throws will not affect the outcome of the game, so we are not coming back to shoot free throws in that instance. Now, that coach tracks you down and F-bombs you off the court, etc. We can always go flagrant and report that after the fact, right? Our jurisdiction on the game ends when we leave the visual confines, but we have afterwards, we have clerical ability to affect the game, so we could then report, hey, after the game, this situation occurs, we assessed a flagrant technical foul to the head coach as we were leaving the court. The result of the free throws would not affect that, so we left the court and terminated our jurisdiction on the game. But I am now reporting to you, state body, league body, assigner, etc., that coach received a flagrant technical foul, and that would have ramifications for them potentially missing games going forward. Yes, the horn has sounded in the end of the game, Julius, and of course we can still have technical fouls in that situation. The play we had was the score was tied. That technical foul is part of the next overtime period because an overtime period will be played. And in the absence of that, we could still assess technical fouls both to players and to coaches. All right. Thank you, William, for jumping on. And Julius, new names in the chat. Yes, I am sure this has happened. I have never had it happen. I almost had it happen. It was a tournament situation, right? Acrimonious game. Tournament situation. And we ended up having, the crew had had our jackets at the, all right, no, here's the situation. So we have a locker room that is far away, and then there's sort of an interim classroom that's adjacent to this. This is a JC game. And at halftime, the officials go to the interim classroom, but we bring our jackets with us and put them at the table so that when the game is over, we can exit from there. And acrimonious game, visitors win the game by 1. There was a technical foul assessed late in the game against one of the players. The coach didn't like it. Crew goes to the table collecting our jackets. The winning coach, comes at the crew, right? I've recounted this story before, and it's just like, is incessantly complaining about that technical foul call, right? So my role then was to say, we are absolutely out of here. Let's go. Coach, we're done. Boom, right? But he was close. It was close. And had there been some, let's say, some derogatory comment on the way out, right? A decision has to be made. A decision has to be made. So we were at the precipice. We didn't go over the edge, but we were right there. And if there had been some, after I had said, we are done, we're leaving, etc., if there had been something else, we could have done it. We could have absolutely done it and assessed the technical foul, gone back. That would have been good times. But I've never had it in my game personally. And if you have it in your game, you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, Jacob, we want to think things through in advance so that we don't get it wrong on the court. And if we're working with more experienced, more veteran partners, we got to stand up for the proper adjudication if we know it, right? Others may want to go down a different path or get things a little bit goofed up here, but we don't want that. We do not want that. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, I'm poised and ready. I appreciate everybody joining today. Make it a great day. If you've got games, multiple games, get out there, kick some ass, keep the game safe and fair, and adjudicate those plays properly at the end of the game. And we'll see everybody on Friday for 5 Play Friday. Have a great one, and take care.